Um, Today we're going to cover, we're here with Sam, and Sam is going to be this makeup trick or how you can elevate your look in your 30s, 40s, aging skin, just really go to that next level. So I'm excited here. Drop in the chat whatever questions. Victoria will be monitoring the chat. So if you have questions for Sam, as they come up, drop in the chat whatever questions you might have, and let's do it.
Okay,
Cool.
I'm super excited. I'm super excited to be here. My name's Sam. I have been a celebrity makeup artist for several years now. I've been in the makeup industry for over a decade. I work on mature skin often, and I think it's a skill that we all need to be aware of because trends change, but the foundation of how to make your makeup last long and look natural is going to be, universal, no matter what trend you want to put on your face.
Right. Well, the thing that I love about you or about Sam is like, I've had my makeup done several times, and every time she does it, I'm like, oh, wow. I like so good. And I'm like, how can it be this different? Right? Like, how can it be this different of how it's done? And so I'm excited for you to just share
Thank you.
what you're doing. So let's do it.
Okay, well, we're going to start with some skincare. That is the most important part. So I use a mixture of different brands, but right now I'm going to be starting out with a skin oil from True Botanicals. It's one of my favorite, and I'm literally going to just do like 2 little drops on my fingers, and I'm going to just work it into her skin. And I don't think it matters what skin type you have. You need to make sure that you are hydrating like none other. And I know a lot of people who have oily skin, they say, I really don't like hydrating. It makes my skin just feel even oilier. If you want your makeup to last, you want it to look nice and natural and really sink into the skin, you need to hydrate. So I'm going to start with skincare before I even go in with any makeup. And I like doing eyes first. So then that skincare has an even longer time of soaking in to the skin.
So are you just putting this oil just on my T-zone or throughout everything?
Throughout everything.
Okay, cool.
Yep. And I do just like a little bit of a facial massage. You want to be going upward overall and going outward. That's what's going to help. So then I'm going to go in with just a little eye cream, and this is Alginist. And everything is about being sanitary as a makeup artist. So I'm going in with like a little spoolie, and I'm going to just use that on both under eyes. So naturally, as we age, we laugh and we smile and we talk. So we're going to get just those natural wrinkles around our eyes and around our mouth. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. But if we want to minimize the look of that, you really want to make sure that you're working an eye cream in, especially underneath. And so again, you're gonna just spend this time, and lots of people love having like a little skincare routine morning and night, but you want to make sure that you're doing it before your makeup.
Yeah. It's interesting. I guess I never thought about like, that's why you do eyes first, is so that it sink in. Yeah.
Okay, and then I'm just going in with a lip mask. This is from Lawless. Just something to help hydrate them before we put some lipstick on them, which is one of the last steps. And again, everything with a spoolie. Okay, and so while I'm letting that oil sink in, I'm going to go on top of it with a moisturizer now. And this is the Kiehl's Ultra Facial Moisturizer. This is like a go-to in my kit. I'm taking a small dollop, nothing crazy. And this is gonna just go on top of that oil. And this is going all over wherever we feel, the skin needs a little more love. But this is like my absolute favorite for every single client of mine. If we don't have time to do skincare of the oils, the eye prep, all of that, we are at least going in with this moisturizer. I work a lot of weddings, and sometimes on weddings we have a really tight schedule. And so brides, they pay the extra, so they get all of the skincare love. But those bridesmaids, sometimes we're doing them like 40 minutes a person. And if I can't give them all of the products, I at least do this moisturizer. It's my absolute favorite. No, we're gonna go in with eyes first. That's one of my favorite things to do. And so lots of people love using an eye primer. And I think eye primers are great, but when you want longevity, you want your makeup to really just look more flawless, especially because we get veins on the top of our eyeshadows.
Yeah.
I mean, on the top of our eyelids.
Yeah.
It's better to use a concealer. Again, I'm going to be putting all of my products here on this rather than touching it raw to Spring's face. And I'm going to be going in using a densely packed brush. Go ahead, close for me. And we're just going to be putting it all over the eyelid. So if we have like any veins, which really do pop up as our skin gets thinner on our eyes as we age, this is now going to be covering any blue or red discoloration that we're having.
So there's specific primer, or is that what you called this? What did you call it?
This is just concealer.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is there specific ones just for this, or is it just
No?
Okay.
Use any concealer that you have.
Okay.
And just pat it in really well. And sometimes I even go in with a beauty blender to help make sure that it's gonna like lie really, really flat. Go ahead, close. And then the secret is to make sure that nothing is like bleeding when you put your eyeshadow on. You're gonna go with this translucent powder. This is from Givenchy. And I'm just gonna lightly dust it over the concealer we put on. So this helps create a barrier between that liquid product, the concealer, and the eyeshadows that you're about to be putting on. And it creates a couple extra steps than just using a regular eye primer, but I really do think it makes a big difference. And so now we're going to start on eyeshadow. While this is all going in, the skin is still soaking in all of the skin products. And we're going to do a really, really simple eye. I think as we get older and we have, more loose skin around our eyes, you want to keep it simple, and that's going to make it last and look a lot cleaner, if you will. So what we want to focus on when we're trying to make our eyes look like really nice and big is we're going to stick right here in this crease where your eye socket is. And so that is where we're going to just put like 1 to 2 shadows. So I'm just going to go in with like a nice neutral. This one is the Makeup by Mario palette, and this is like a nice neutral brown. And I'm going to just like blend it. You're going to do tiny little circles and windshield wiper motions. And I'm not really caring if it's really messy on the outside of her eye because I'm going to clean it up. So we're just packing it in there and blending it out. I think as we get older, mattes are more flattering on our eyes. When we start to use things that have shimmer or sparkles, it actually makes our wrinkles look bigger.
Good to know. Good to know.
So especially when we're in that crease area, we want to keep it matte eyeshadows. And my favorite thing about this like little eyeshadow combination I'm going to give you, it works with like any colors you want to do. On that crease, we're going to keep it a light color, and we're going to do the same thing over here. And then there's going to be an outer V area where we're going to add a slightly darker color, and it's going to help deepen up the definition of your eye socket. And then you can put a simple lighter color on the inner eyelid. But right now we're just still working on the eyeshadow on the crease. But that 3 eyeshadow combination is going to be perfect for any colors that you want to do. So now I'm going to go in with a slightly darker eyeshadow. and it's just a brown. It's more of like a middle brown right here. And we're gonna go on the outer V. So it's actually I'm gonna show, it's this right here. That's your outer V. So you're gonna go here, add in that darker shade. And this is where you're really gonna wanna do little mini circles over and over. So we can kind of see already, that's nice in helping add definition already. And again, I don't really care if it's really messy on this outer area because we're going to clean it up. But that's literally just 2 eyeshadows right there. And it already looks like a final look. Like you could go out and get photos taken with that. So I'm going to bring her here.
I think it's interesting, like filling it, like you're doing the circular motion. I think a lot of times, I mean, I know in the past I have not done a circular motion. It's just like put it on, you know?
I think the circular motion really just helps things like blend really well.
Yeah.
And makeup brushes do make a really big difference. So I know like it's really tempting to just buy like a super cheap set at TJ Maxx or even like Amazon. But when you do the research and look at like what brushes you're using, that's how good your makeup's actually going to look. So you're only as good as your eye brush. So
which ones do you recommend then?
Honestly, I love Real Techniques. I feel like that's really cost effective. You can get that at Target, Walmart, Ulta. But if you're like going for really, really nice brands, I really do like Spectrum. These brushes were like a hefty penny, but I do this as a living. So for me, it was a good investment. But if we're just doing makeup every day, I think Real Techniques is a great place, or Morphe. I do love Morphe brushes, or even the Sephora collection. Okay, so I have nothing on this brush. This is the brush that I used for the first eyeshadow, and I'm just going over and doing windshield wiper motions to kind of help blend anything that I think might just be a little uneven. And that just helps create a nice eye look already. So if you're going to add shimmer to your eye, if you're going to add shimmer to your eye, we're going to leave it just right here in the lid area. Because again, once we start putting shimmers on the creases, your eyes are going to look a little more creasy and more wrinkled than they actually are. So I'm going to just grab from the Natasha Denona palette, and I'm going to be going right here on the lid. Just a little something. Nothing too crazy. Something that's going to just catch the light when she turns to anyone. And again, I'm going with a lighter shade right there. If you wanted to do like a smoky eye, you're just going to reverse it and do dark, and then a lighter shade there. But this 3 eyeshadow trick is going to work for everything. If you wanted to make it with like oranges or pinks or anything. Okay, so now we're going to do some eyeliner. And I'm going to go in with a brown because we already have a lot of darkness from her nice lashes. And so we're going to just do a simple little winged eyeliner. So I'm going to have you go ahead and close for me, Spring. And I'm just making it thicker on the outside. And then as we go in, it's going to be lighter and thinner. And then at Spring, I'm going to have you look forward for me, okay? I'm going to turn your face just slightly. And we're going to just make a small little dash right here. And then go ahead, close. And then I'm going to connect them. And again, if it's not the cleanest, I'm going to go in and clean it up with just a little micellar water. So I'm okay with it not being the cleanest.
So ladies, I just noticed a bunch of participants joined. So I'm thinking you were in the waiting room for a really long time. So drop it in the chat if you did, where you got on here, because this is recorded. We will send it out to you. But will you recap? And whoever's watching this Zoom room, will you guys make sure you're letting people in as they go? So Do you want to maybe just hit on that? She did skincare
Mhm.
first. Um, she did skincare, so maybe just do a really fast, like,
Yeah, of course.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, and we will send you a printable,
Yes.
but I literally just saw that everybody just got in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Great. So I'm gonna put the cap on the eyeliner.
Sorry, guys. Like I was watching it and I'm like, where is everybody? And then all these people flooded in. So she'll just do a quick recap.
Yeah. So we spent a lot of time on skincare. So that's like super, super important. No matter what your skin type is, you want your skin like super, super hydrated. My go-to product for that is going to be a Kiehl's Ultra Hydrating Facial Moisturizer. I think this one's like fabulous. And we're gonna let all that soak in while we start on her eye makeup. So then by the time we start putting product on your face, it's already ready for it. It's nice and unfortunate moist. That's the best word I can think of right now. And now we're going in with the eyes. So there's a three-step eyeshadow technique that I use on almost all clients, depending on any skin type, any eye shape, any color that they want. So I'm gonna have you go ahead, close. We're gonna use a lighter shade in that crease area right here. Then we're gonna use a slightly darker shade in this outer V area right here. And then use a light shadow right across the lid. And so sometimes if you want it to be a little more dramatic, you can add a couple more colors in there. And blending is gonna be all circular motions and then windshield wiper motions. So we did that on both sides. And now I'm just going in with some eyeliner. And we're doing a brown right now because sometimes black can look really harsh as our skin gets more mature. So I'm gonna have you turn right here.
Do you normally do a liquid eyeliner?
Yes, I love a liquid eyeliner. And I love, if you're gonna do more high end, I love Fenty as that eyeliner. And then I also love just like a simple NYX. And I think for me, it works well for all clients. I've been, for those who are just coming in, I've been a professional makeup artist for over a decade now, and I've worked on some celebrities. I've worked on many different types of skin, whether that's, you know, super, super young and more mature skin. So that's why I'm here with Spring, just teaching you guys some tricks.
Well, she's really here because you guys, I've had my makeup done so much. And every time Sam does it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I look so different. Even like right now, like if you guys would have saw what I started out, even just to this moment, we've been 5 minutes deep.
Uh-huh.
It just is so different of just a few techniques. Also, I said this in a lot of my videos, but like I learned how to do my makeup for my mom, which is great. And techniques have changed so much,
Yeah.
right? Like my 15-year-old's makeup game is on point. So I was like, us moms need to learn how to do our makeup of really what to do. And I think even just where you said earlier, like sparkles, like the shimmer doesn't
Yeah.
work as you get older. Like I didn't even know that either.
Yeah, you want
right?
to avoid using shimmers on the actual creases because it's going to make your wrinkles look way more defined and like even bring them forward. So that's why we leave shimmer just for the actual eyelid here.
So in the middle to make it
Yeah.
pop, right?
Yep, exactly.
So the middle to make it pop. And then also she mentioned as we get older, like we start getting the veins in our eyelids. So you want to make sure you use a primer to just neutralize out the eye before you put
Yeah.
on your makeup.
And lots of people love using like just like an eye primer, think like Urban Decay eye primer, but I really enjoy using a concealer and then putting that over in a very thin layer and then going in with a translucent powder and setting that because that will actually like cover your veins and discoloration.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna finish with eyeliner on her other side, just a quick wing.
What does the wing do?
The wing just helps bring up your eye just a little bit. Go ahead, look at me. Okay, pretty. And I'm going to show for people who don't feel as confident with doing it with a winged eyeliner, I'm going to show you how we can do it with eyeshadow. So I'm going in with like a much smaller brush and can't really see, but it's flat, very flat, very thin. And I'm going in with this like dark brown here. And I'm gonna just be popping it like right out this way. And again, I'm not too concerned if it's like kind of messy because we're just going to go in and clean it up with the simplest, quickest move. And it's going to give the nice effect as if you had like eyeliner, winged eyeliner on. So I'm going to go in on the other side now.
So do you recommend a winged eyeliner in general? Like if they're going to wear an eyeliner?
Yeah, honestly, I think it just helps elevate the eye, especially when we're trying to fight gravity. Just as we age and get older, it sometimes just feels like everything's working against us.
So to push it up. So how far out on the wing do you go? Like, I guess.
Not too far
Yeah,
at
it's
all.
literally right there.
And so this is my trick. You're going to take a cotton pad, or you can use a makeup wipe, but I think it works better with a cotton pad. We're going to just put some micellar water on it. And then I'm going to bend it in half like this. I'm going to have you just look straight ahead. And I'm going to connect from this part of our eye and just go outward. So it creates a really quick, easy wing. Just like that. And then any eyeshadow that's fallen, I'm just going to clean up like that. And then same thing on the other side. Sorry, I don't want to be blocking anything. Just go right there. So if we were, a little too messy underneath the eye, this quickly cleans it up so easily for us.
Also, you guys, as you have questions, drop them in the chat, and we'll do a Q&A for Sam afterwards of whatever questions you have. So feel free just to drop in the chat as things come up.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so now we're going to be going on to face makeup. So again, if we're doing like our eye makeup like really, really quick, that like 3-step technique with the eyeshadow and then just cleaning up like anything dark, creating a little bit of an eyeliner, like can take less than 5 minutes. So now that all that skincare has like been able to sink in and everything, we're going to be,
Let's see what Ellie's messages.
yeah, let's see them.
Barely got in, was in the waiting room. Sorry, you guys. Oh my gosh, Spring, it looks so beautiful. Does she already have makeup on or a base or anything?
No, literally just skincare.
Yeah,
right now.
just skincare. So she put on, where's that oil?
Yeah.
So she started with this oil for all of you guys, this True Botanical, and she just rubbed it in like lightly and pushed up and around, and then put on that Kiehl's that she showed you. She said that if you're in a hurry, just do the Kiehl's, but if you have time to let it soak in, then use the oils and then go to your eye makeup first.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm always an advocate for do your eye makeup first, especially if any of that eyeshadow like falls down, you're able to clean it all up without affecting any face makeup. So you're not wasting any product and you're not wasting any time.
Perfect.
So I already got a dollop of some primer and I'm going to just work it into spring skin. And I'm focusing on the areas where we're seeing pores. So I love a pore filling primer. And this one is from Laura Mercier, and it is the blurring primer. Yeah, it's the purple one.
There you go.
So honestly, spring skin feels so good, so like supple, and just getting this into the areas of her T-zone primarily, because that's where we get a lot of oil.
I'm super oily, you guys. Like, I'm dry, and then throughout the day I look like a greasy human.
So this one is like my go-to for anyone that has oil. And again, we're keeping it in that T-zone area, any place that we're seeing lots of pores, and we're just working it in. And this really does minimize the look of pores, and that some of the other makeup that we'll be using will also minimize pores. And I think there's lots of areas where we can absolutely buy like more cost-effective makeup, stuff that's from the drugstore. But I think with our primer, we want to get the nicer primers because that's really going to make a difference in how our foundation sits on our skin. So now that that's all good there, we're gonna go in with a foundation. So this is like one of my favorite foundations because it's really, really light. The main thing when we're doing skin is we want to work in really, really thin layers because the way that we all of a sudden just like start looking more aged and like really heavy is we're just doing really thick makeup. So this is Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. I already picked out the color that like matches spring really well. I'm doing 2 pumps on my little tray. And I'm going in with just like a really dense brush. This is from Sephora and this is the Pro Foundation 64 brush. So this is one of my favorite brushes I use on every single client. And I'm just popping this on her skin. I'm not caring about like covering all of her skin right now. I just want to get it on there as like a good base. And I literally only dipped my brush once and we're already able to cover almost her entire face. And we don't want it like looking too cakey, so I'm trying to use less product. So again, dipped it in there again, and we're gonna hit the other side of her face.
Just like basically patting it.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. So sometimes with makeup, when we're going like this, we're now like scraping the makeup down the face. So if we want to work it in the skin, which is especially something that's important as our skin gets older, we really want to pat it in. That's going to make a difference of how it looks like our actual skin rather than just sitting on top of our skin. I don't know if that makes sense, but we want our makeup to look like it's blending in and melting in with our skin, not just sitting on top of it. And another way to go in and like really help it work in is we're going to go in with the beauty blender and we're just going to pat it in even more. And the reason why I like going in with a brush first is I'm going to lose less product with the brush. Beauty blenders are a sponge, so it's naturally going to soak up some of the product. So if you go in first with your foundation and then a beauty blender, you're going to be losing a lot of product to your beautiful little beauty blender. It's just going to soak it up.
so this is really just meant to blend it.
Yeah, exactly. And we're just doing all of those little like bumping motions, bumping it in because we don't want to be moving the product all across the face. We just want it to look like a natural part of our skin. Okay, so most people, after they do foundation, they want to go straight into concealer, but I actually really enjoy doing contour and blush first. So I'm going in with a liquid blush. So as our skin gets older, it's, really easy for things to coat our hair and just look really thick. Creams and liquids are our friends. So this is a NARS liquid blush in the color Torrid. I'm putting it right here. I'm going in with like just a simple brush and we want to keep the blush actually at the high point of her cheekbones. When we put it right here, that's actually going to make your face look more round. Sometimes we do enjoy that, but we love as we get older a nice natural, like snatched natural look, just bringing our face up, right?
I gotta tell you guys, it was so funny. I got a DM the other day and this girl goes, "Oh my gosh, your face looks so snatched. You ended up in my feed and your face looks so snatched." And I get so much hate from like all my ads that when I read it originally, I was like, "Oh, she's telling me I don't look good." But then I realized snatched, and like it was good. I was like, "Oh, thank you for the compliment."
No, Spring has great cheekbones and we want to like really emphasize them. So this might look insane, super, super pink, but because it is a liquid, we're able to just blend it out really well. So we're gonna go with that beauty blender again and just really blend it in. And I don't care if it's underneath her eyes or anything, because when we go in with a concealer, it's gonna be able to really make everything look nice and blended. So already that's looking so much better than the other side. And again, you got to trust the process. This is an area where you're like, I look crazy, but that will look like this nice blush there.
How does somebody pick colors?
It's all about your undertone. So if you are on the paler side, you're going to want to be going more towards a cooler toned blush. Probably you're going to be thinking more bubble gummy. Whereas if you get tanner and more deeper shade, you're going to be thinking more of like a peach. So the fun thing about blush though is I really feel like there are no rules. Like blush, you can use any blush on anyone. And I think it's just a fun area of your makeup where you really can play around. So now I'm going to be using a cream bronzer to contour, and we're not going to go underneath the cheekbones. We're kind of going to go right on the side of the cheekbone right here. And again, that's going to help lift the face and pull it back. Once we start going right underneath that bone, we start to drag the face down, and we don't want to do that because that's going to make us look even older. So this is from Patrick Ta. She's sculpted. And I'm going in with like a dense brush. I'm just doing a couple pats like that, nothing crazy. And I'm going right in here and patting it in. And sometimes I'll do little circular motions. But already when you look at that, like that's a cheekbone right there, like boom. And then we want to make it look balanced. So we're going to add a little bit to like the forehead area. Everything in makeup is about looking symmetrical and creating really good facial balance. So we're just doing the leftover, which is barely any, just adding right here to the jawline. Nothing too crazy. We're not bringing it all the way. We're just right here emphasizing this area. So, and then think of it as like a 3, like a shape of a 3 to help create and remember that balance. And the reason why we're going in again with all these creams and liquids is because it's so thin. Like she could go out right now and people would probably think like, oh yeah, she has some makeup on, but like she just has really, really good cheekbones. Instead of like recognizing, oh, she's wearing like a ton of makeup.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that on the same thing over here. Sorry, I don't want to be blocking the camera.
And the brush you're using is flat, right?
Yep. Yeah. And this is just like a Real Techniques brush that I've had for a while. I love how long they last. And we're going in here on the forehead, creating that symmetry. Going here and then just adding a little bit right here. So again, it just looks nice and natural. It's not like dragging your face down or anything. And then we're going to go in with concealer now. And this is where everything's like really going to like clean up and everything. I just said everything so many times. Great. Okay, I'm going in with a couple different concealers. So this is a lighter concealer, and this we're going to use like more so right underneath the eye here to brighten up. And then we're going to use a concealer that's closer to the actual foundation color that's going to just create a little more coverage in areas.
Oh, interesting. So you use 2 different colors.
Yeah.
Okay, so light here, and then the rest is the darker.
Yep. Just more similar to the actual skin tone, because I feel like it was so like 2015 where we just wanted a bright under eye.
Oh yeah.
And that's not always the most flattering. And that's the thing about trends. Trends are really fun, but they're not always flattering. And so I'm going in with Hourglass Vanishing Concealer and then also Lancome Ultra Wear Concealer. So I'm going to be picking up that darker concealer, and if you look up, and we're just going to go in that outer area, kind of following where we created that wing and blending it right in with the blush and all the way up to the nose. And again, thin, small layers are your friend. That is exactly what you want.
So you're taking it all the way over to my nose. I can feel it. So you're going on my nose.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's a really thin amount. And then if we're ever feeling like this area has like a lot of discoloration right here, again, really thin amount, we're using that beauty blender, which is soaking up some of the product, and we're just evening it out right here.
Interesting. You want to see? Can't really tell on the Zoom.
And then we're doing the same thing here, starting and just lightly blending it out. And it's just helping also that blush like not look so insane. But I think it's like we just teach ourselves that blush is like enemy, especially if we have like a lot of pink undertones. We get really scared of using blush. Don't be. It brings life into our face and it makes us look more youthful. If you're a person that never uses blush, it will make you look less awake. It'll make you look a little more just, I don't want to say dead, but blush creates color and like youth to your face, and no blush gives more of the effect of like tiredness and not looking as awake. Okay, so now I'm going in with that little bit of lighter shade, and I'm literally just keeping it right here underneath the eye and up against that nose, but that's it. And I'm using a very small amount. The Beauty Blender is doing a great job of soaking up some of that product, so it's not looking too heavy on our skin. And then using that slightly brighter shade can help cover any dark discoloration that we're having underneath the eye. Okay, so now with any leftover that I have, I'm going to be just hitting right here above the forehead and then down the nose a little bit and then right here. So this is all about symmetry, right? We talked about it with like contouring, is if we have brightness here underneath these eyes, we also want this area down the center of the face to be bright. And we brighten up areas to bring them forward, and we darken up areas with like contour bronzer to bring them more back. And like we do that on our cheekbones because we want our cheekbones to look more sunken in, so they look more sharp, if that makes sense.
So you use the lighter right here, just the extra.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and really, really thin layers. I'm going back in with that translucent powder that I used like to set the concealer on top of the eyelids. We're just going in and I'm dusting it off because I don't want like a whole ton. Go ahead, look up for me. And we're just going in there and setting it underneath her eyes. If we don't set liquids where there's lots of like creases, it's going to like show in the future with your makeup separating. Your makeup's going to get creasy. So we're just putting it all there underneath the eyes. That's a place where we naturally are going to have wrinkles. We also are going to be having them from just talking and everything. So we're going to just put it right around our talking, like smile lines. I think like I love working in the beauty industry and I've been in this industry for a while, but I think it's a bit of a lie that the industry has told us that we're not allowed to have like any wrinkles at all. Because like that's just not natural, and it's not like I'm all about Botox and everything. I get it in my forehead and all my problem areas, but I think sometimes we give ourselves like a lot of hate and frustration because we have them like around our eyes and around our mouth and stuff, but like you're gonna get them naturally from just talking.
So Adrian's asking, what's the brand of the powder?
Okay, yes. I talked about it earlier. It is Givenchy and the Prism Libre. This is very expensive, honestly, for a powder, but this is one area that I do think like the better, higher quality that you get, the better your makeup's gonna look, because the Givenchy is more finely milled. So that means like the particles of like the powder itself is like really, really, really tiny. And if you're using a powder that has like bigger flakes, it's gonna look more cakey. So I have like a mini one. I want to say the mini is like $30 or $40. And then if you get like the full size one, then you're spending closer to 70, if I remember correctly.
Well, you're not using a lot of it.
No.
Yeah.
This little guy has like I bought this little guy last summer and I still have more than half of it left. And like I use
And you do a lot of makeup.
Yeah, I use it on so many different clients. Okay, so now we're just going in with like a little bit of bronzer and contour just to go over that little bit of like cream that we put down. This is Dior In warm bronze, number 5, I'm going in with just kind of like an angled brush. So it's going to sink in to her cheekbones right there. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to tap off. Again, we're doing really thin, small layers. That's how it looks like. Nothing is just sitting on your face. So we're going in and like it's adding more warmth to her face. Sometimes contour can make us look a little like more gray shade. And with everything that's like left over, I'm just kind of like dusting it on the jawline. I'm going to now touch the top of her forehead so we can make that look more balanced. And especially as we get older, we really do want to focus on those thin layers. So already that looks really nice and just like,
Yeah.
yeah,
It added a lot of warmth. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
And we're tapping like 2-3 times and then we're dusting off. So any excess comes off. So now we're going to go in on the other side. And sometimes with makeup, there's a lot more padding than you think. The padding really does help blend. Because once we start pulling this way, and especially if we're pulling hard, we're now taking product with us on our brushes. So again, we're doing the padding and now we're dusting off. And we're really like working it upward. We're not working it downward. We want to be pulling up. So it helps create that really nice, like snatched look. And then any leftover, we're dusting it on the chin. We're working it there.
Heidi's asking, does the moisturizer or foundation have SPF in it, or do you recommend an SPF? I definitely recommend SPF.
Yes, always use an SPF. My moisturizer does not have an SPF in it.
So yeah, like my skincare routine in the morning prior to makeup is like a moisturizer and then a sunscreen. When Sam does my makeup, she doesn't take any of that off. So like today I had on a moisturizer and a sunscreen, and then she just came in and added the oils and whatnot. So I would just challenge you guys, if you're doing your normal skincare routine, put on your sunscreen and then your moisturizer or whatever, and then the oils.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. So as a makeup artist, I'm just here to like make your makeup look good and enhance your natural features. But like SPF, that's kind of on the client themselves if they want to be adding that to their own routine.
And I'm a fan of it because we all know sun is what makes you wrinkled, right?
Yeah. And Utah, we live here in Utah, but Utah has the highest rate of skin cancer.
Yeah.
Because people aren't using SPF, they're not taking their skincare seriously. And I mean, you're going to be looking a little bit older as their skin is wrinkling from all this sun damage.
Yeah. So.
Okay, I'm going in with a blush right now. So this is a discontinued palette from a couple years ago from Hourglass, but I really like these 2 blushes, especially on spring, because I've done her makeup several times now. And I think these both just like complement her skin tone really well. They're really fun and just like have a really, really tiny little bit of shimmer in it. And we're going to be placing it right there, kind of like where you think highlighter goes. And again, you tap it off. We don't want that much product. And blush usually isn't that pigmented, so you can really have to like add a ton for it to start to look clownish. But I think that's good because you don't want to just pop it once and be like, oh my gosh, what have I done? It's very, very buildable. So we're really enhancing Spring's cheekbones. We're going on that upper area. And it's helping set that blush that we had already put down, that cream liquid blush. And I think it just like when you look at the camera, it just has like a really nice warmth to it. It's nothing like too crazy.
So if somebody was like wanting to like hurry and do their makeup, because this is a process, right? What steps, like, would you still encourage them to use the liquid or the powders?
I would say use the liquid. The liquid's a lot more forgiving, especially for beginners. And you can just put a setting spray all over it and you're not too worried about it going anywhere. But you still want to set that under eye area because that is a creasy area. So
Right.
you, no matter what, any concealer that you put on, you want to set with like a small translucent powder.
Okay.
So now I'm going in with like a highlighter. This is like a really finely milled highlighter. You want to be using ones that have not chunks of sparkle in it. When you're using chunks of sparkle, it's going to be enhancing your pores. And as we get older, our pores get bigger and we want to like forget that they're there.
True and true.
Okay, so this one is from Laura Mercier. This is highlight number 1. And I'm just going right on top of the cheekbones. I'm using just a small fluffy brush, nothing crazy. Some people like using what's called a fan brush and it looks like a giant fan. So now that we're like all done with like all of those products, I'm going in with a makeup setting spray. This is literally from the Sephora collection. It's really cost effective. And this is just going to help blend everything together because we do have a lot of powders on the face. Whenever you feel like you're getting too powdery, which can look too cakey, go ahead and use like a soft setting spray, like a wet one, and it's going to help blend everything together. And later we're going to use like a different type of setting spray so you can really see the difference there. Okay, now that that's just like working into the skin, we're going to do one of my favorite hacks. Like, so everyone wants a tiny like little nose, right? But I mean, I don't have money for a nose job and everything. So we're
You have
gonna
the smallest nose ever.
I'm very fortunate. I
It's
do
so
like
cute.
my nose.
Yeah.
We're gonna go in and do a nose job with contour. And so this is like one of my favorite brushes. I want to say this is a Belladium and it has a really unique shape. And the reason why it's shaped like this is we're going to be setting it right up against the nose and it's going to just follow the natural nose contour that we have. And I'm going in, I'm dusting off a bunch and I'm just following Spring's nose. And you want to push it also up into the brow because that helps your nose look like a continued line from your brow bone. If you don't bring it into the nose, you just look like you have 2 stripes down your nose. And that's when it starts to look a little silly. So again, we're doing the other side, bringing it up into that brow bone, eyebrow area, and we're bringing it underneath the nose and right along this side of it. And then I'm using the tip of the brush, going in with it, and I'm just hitting right above like her nose tip. So it creates like a really nice shadow, creating a smaller nose effect.
Does my nose look smaller, friends?
And I do this on almost every single client. Again, we want that facial symmetry. So if everything else has nice contouring and looks really warm, if we don't do anything with our nose, it looks out of place if there's nothing on the nose at all. Okay, now we're going in with a tiny little highlight. This is, again, another trick with like a tiny nose job. We're going to use a very, very tiny little minuscule brush. And we're going to be placing it right on the tip. And all of a sudden, you can't really see it on Zoom, but in person, it does make a really, really big difference. And I mean, I remember when highlighter, like strobing was a really big thing. Like we all wanted to be like able to be seen from space with our highlight. It's not what we're wanting, but doing that little tiny bit of the tip of the nose brings the nose more forward. So it gives the effect of like that tiny little tip. Okay, and now I'm going to be going right here into the corner of the eye. This helps the eye look more open, more awake. I'm gonna go in on the other side. So that's like a really tiny little makeup artist hack. Now we're gonna go in with her eyebrows. I like doing eyebrows last because if you do your eyebrows beforehand, there's a lot of different powders that are being used and it's gonna fall and get on your eyebrows. This is a Makeup by Mario eyebrow pencil, but I love NYX also. I think there's so many good cost-effective eyebrow pencils out there. And I'm just going in and I mean, spring already has like a really good natural shape. So I'm not like trying to like reinvent the wheel or anything. I'm just going with what she naturally has. And I'm not wanting her eyebrows super thick and bushy. I think as we get older, like we don't want our eyebrows thick and bushy. We want to be able to see like a little bit of hair. I know we have like lots of microblading out there now. Like my eyebrows are microbladed too, but I think it's good to just not like less is more. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Less is definitely more in the eyebrow department. And then if you're really like wanting a bolder brow, then go in and keep adding. Just again, I'm just going with her natural shape. I'm going to use a gel to help like make her hairs just go with like her natural shape that we have going on. We have just a couple hairs that, you know, naturally just don't want to get with the program, which is very, very normal for most of us. But I really like an eyebrow pencil too because it is so fine. So when we have just tiny little sparse areas.
So this is cool, you guys. Like it's got the thing, and then this is the
Yeah.
like that has the pencil on right there.
Yeah, it's the spoolie on the side,
Yeah.
one end.
Master Blade, Dirty Blonde. Anyway, it's good.
Yeah. All right, I'm just going in with like a gel. This is Anastasia Beverly Hills brow gel. I already dipped in and got some. Again, like this is my kit, so sanitation is really important. Keep everything sanitized. I'm going in using a spoolie, like just a disposable spoolie, and gonna just work it in her brows and work them to be just up. Again, I don't want her to have like the big bushy, like electrocuted eyebrow hairs or anything, but when everything is lifted, you're gonna have a more lifted look. So the secret is you're gonna move it all up, but then when you're on that tail, you're gonna be working it more so in the eyebrow shape that you have.
So after the arch, you move it down into
Yeah.
the eyebrow shape.
Yep,
Yeah.
exactly. But hey, if you love that really nice bushy eyebrow look, do not let me rain on your parade. Do whatever you like. And that's the fun thing about makeup is like there are guides, ways to make your makeup enhance your natural features, but there aren't any rules. I mean, almost every makeup product can be used for another area on the face. Like if you were in dire need, you could literally use your eyebrow pencil as lip liner. You can use your blush as eyeshadow. Like there are so many different ways that makeup works, and that's what's really fun about it. Okay, so now that we're pretty much done with like face and everything, we're gonna go in and just add a little bit of eyeshadow underneath the eye. And I'm going in with a brown. When we start adding black underneath the eye, it can start to make us look a little bit older. It's a little harsh. I'm gonna have you look up for me. And we're just going in, and I'm going in with the shade that we used on the top of her eye. And it's all about symmetry. So whatever color sheet I used here, I'm wanting to replicate it by using it underneath the eye. And this is like, you know, just an everyday simple look. If you're out here wanting to do something like very dramatic and stuff, like add a fun color underneath the eye. But this is just all about balancing. So I'm using the same thing on the other side. I'm connecting it with that little baby wing we gave ourselves. And bringing it inward. Spring naturally has pretty big eyes, but if you wanted your eyes to be really big, you'd be taking like a cream or white eyeliner, cream eyeliner, and you're putting it in the waterline underneath right here. That would help make your eyes look bigger. Spring does not need that. She has beautiful, beautiful eyes. But just doing this helps it make your eyes look bigger and more awake. Once we start adding black underneath there, that's more like a dramatic, fun night out. Like,
yeah, a night out, not an everyday.
not an everyday. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Okay, so pretty much Spring already has.
I already have lashes.
Yeah, she already has lashes on, so we're not concerned about that. But now we're going to be doing lips. So we already had that stuff on her lips. The Lawless like lip, I can't even think of what it's called, but like moisturizer. So we're just taking a little bit off. I'm going in with a lip liner that's pretty similar to Spring's lip color. This is Soar by MAC. And we're just not doing anything crazy, just lining. I really like MAC. I love Makeup Forever lip liners. NYX has great lip liners when we're looking for something more cost effective. And we're just doing like maybe one shade darker than her natural lips.
I do have a question because that you hear
Yeah.
people like overlining, like where you put it.
Mhm.
I know you just put it right on my crease.
Yeah.
What is the difference?
Overlining would be us creating a bigger lip line on the top. So the secret with overlining is you want to do the overlining right here on that Cupid's bow and then bring it down to meet your natural lip line. If you're overlining the entire lip, that's when you start to look like clown lips and you're like, why can't I do this? Why doesn't it look natural? Because overlining can look really natural.
Okay.
I'm going in with like a slightly lighter shade and I can kind of overline Spring's lips right here on the top. And then as I'm bringing it down, I'm meeting her natural lip line because that is how we keep it not clown looking. So again, on the other side, you are going to be adding to the top. Go ahead, turn your face just a little bit. There we go. And bring it down so it's nice and matching. And so now they're a little bit bigger. Don't know if you guys can see that on Zoom.
They look really big to me.
And then underneath, it'd be the same thing. We're adding from underneath right here, but we're meeting up on the sides. I'm not worried about doing that.
Yeah, they don't need any bigger lips.
Okay, so we're gonna be going in.
My cute husband. Do I look so cute?
You're beautiful.
Right.
Not cute, that's beautiful.
This is just like a bunch of different lipsticks that I have smashed up in here, so my kit is smaller. But I'm gonna be using a Makeup by Mario, like lip balm lipstick. This is in the color Rose Gold, Rose Glow, I want to say. And we're just doing it right there in the center. This one, I feel like it comes in like a just really nice, simple little package, and it's so good for every day.
So you don't do the whole lip, you just do it in the center.
Just in the center. So when we do our lip liner, we kind of want to like to make your lip liner not just look like lines. You're bringing your lip liner just a little bit inward on the lip and diffusing it. You're just kind of going in, keeping that line in. And then you're going to put your actual lip stuff on the center of the lip and use like the applicator or whatever to kind of blend in with that lip liner that we already had. If we just do the lines and don't bring anything on the actual lip, that's when you kind of can see like, oh, that's actual lip liner that she has on.
Interesting. So you guys can see. Oh, my favorite part.
Okay, so we're pretty much done with all of her makeup. It's looking really nice and natural. Of course, like we were talking this through, so it took like an hour. But if I was doing this on myself, 5 minutes for skin prep, putting in the oil, putting in the moisturizer, a little bit of eye cream, a little bit of lip moisturizer, 5 minutes on the eyes. You have your 3 eyeshadow technique, light in the crease, a little bit darker on that outer V, and then something nice and shimmery, or even just matte on the eyelid, but a little bit of a lighter shade. Then after that, we're going and patting in some foundation, a little bit of blush. Again, liquids, creams are going to be really forgiving, easy to work with your beauty blender. And then, blush, contour, do your 3 rule on the cheek, your jawline, and your forehead. And then you're going to go in with a little bit of concealer right here underneath the eye, a little bit of translucent powder to set that, and you could be done right then. Do your eyebrows however you prefer, do your lips however you prefer, and then just set it all with like a setting spray. We just added a couple more tricks just so you guys can learn a little more things with like adding the powders and everything.
Normally it does not take this long. So how long would it normally take you to do your makeup?
Literally like 30 minutes, if that.
Okay. And that's you looking like
this. This was like a 30-minute look, really quick and easy.
Yeah, you're beautiful, by the way.
Thank you. Okay, we're now going to go in with the second setting spray. So we already used like a liquid setting spray that's more wet when it comes out to help blend everything. We're going in with an aerosol. This is One Size On Till Dawn. This, I've literally put my face underwater and my makeup does not get affected at all. So I'm going to spray your face. Go ahead, close. I know that's a lot, but that's how your makeup is going to last 12 plus hours. So that is my go-to.
All right.
There you go.
So ladies, if you have questions, here's my look. If you have questions, drop them in the chat. If anything, product, brand, applications, whatnot. Same with you on Facebook if you have questions. I don't know if Victoria's looking at them, but Sam's here. She'll pull up a chair.
Yeah.
You can even unmute yourself if you want and ask whatever questions you might have. Sam does makeup all day, every day. It's wedding season right now.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I told her, I'm like, do these brides know like how lucky they are to have you doing their makeup? Because she's legit. She also does a lot of TV and stuff. So what would you say is the number one if they didn't have 30 minutes? Like if it was like, I got to get out of this door, what would be what you would tell them to do?
I would say concealer for your under eyes. Like if you want to get out the door, you have something that you want to look a little more presentable for, you want to look awake. You want to look really lively. So that's concealer right underneath the eye and maybe a little bit of blush.
Okay.
The truth about foundation, which the beauty industry lies to us about, is foundation is just there to even out complexion. If you have really even skin tone, you don't need foundation. You really don't need that much foundation, especially.
Yeah.
We did foundation on spring just because that's what we usually do. But honestly, spring really doesn't need that much foundation.
And on a normal day-to-day basis, I actually wear very little.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It's just there. Like, I think honestly, because that's what I was taught to do.
Exactly.
Like, you have to use it, but it doesn't.
No, you can skip it.
Yeah.
You can totally skip foundation if you feel like you have a really even skin tone and like there's not like problem spots that you want to cover.
Yeah.
So again, my go-to would be like concealer underneath the eye and a little bit of blush on that cheekbone area. And then if you have time for mascara, maybe a little mascara to like really make yourself look awake, if you will.
Cool. Pam, to answer your question, I do have fake lashes. So I have lash extensions. And so that's why she didn't put mascara on. There's been times I haven't had lash extensions and she'll put on, sometimes it just depends on my event. She'll put on fake lashes on me and then use mascara, or we'll just do mascara.
Yeah.
But currently I got some lashes on. So
yeah.
Mascara
is usually always like my last step. A really fun trick, if you ever like, get mascara underneath your eye or something, let it dry down for a second and then use like a spoolie and go in and just do this and the mascara will come off and not affect your actual makeup.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Any other questions, my friends? I love starting my morning off with a bunch of ladies. Like I mentioned, sorry that you were not in the Zoom. We will send out the recording. Plus, we do have a downloadable that shows you application process or whatever. I've had Sam do my makeup and it's lasted all day. Like I've had times where I'm like, oh my gosh, my husband should take me on a date. I look so great. And I think a big component of it is that the multiple steps and then the setting sprays to make sure that it lasts.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. All right. Was this a value? If it was, drop in the chat your number one like takeaway. I'd love to hear if you were like me. The whole blush thing, putting it up here. I used to always put it right here. Even a year ago, like I look at pictures and I'm all, oh man, somebody should have taught me that. So I'd love to see in the chat if you found this of value and then what your number one takeaway is. And then we'll let you guys get going for your day. So, number one takeaway, and also, if this was a value. While you guys are dropping in the chat, just want to send out an invite to all of you. We are doing a women's retreat in Bellingham, Washington, July 25th. This retreat is high-minded, high-vibe ladies. The particular on this one is we're going wealth. So as much as I love the glam, which is a big component of who we are, Bellingham is all about you creating a wealth plan. We're flying in Ben Kenny. Our icons are going to be there, and we're being mapping out wealth plans of whatever you want to create. So if you're wanting a wealth plan of like, I just want to have financial security and buy some houses, great. If you're like, I want to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars, that's great too. So we'll put more info. We'll drop in the chat if you want to join us in Bellingham. We've got several ladies that are flying in from it. Drop in the chat number one takeaway. How was valuable? Yes, I need to use setting spray. Oh yeah, Amy, me too. I just need to do my makeup, period. All right, ladies. Thank you so much for being here. Like I said, we'll send out the recording. And hopefully today was a valuable, totally appreciate you doing this. Loved all of it. Thank you. You're welcome, Adrian. All right, you guys have a great day. Get to work and we will see you guys soon. How to remove mascara well and foundation hack. Yes, so good. Keep the color high on the cheeks, so not drag your face down. Yep, same. I want to be worth billions. All right. If you want to be worth billions, come to Bellingham because who we're flying in is worth billions, and he's going to show you how to create a wealth plan. When I went to him and said, I want to have at least a $50 million net worth, he was like, done and done. Let me help you figure that out. So again, it's whatever level you want to be, but it starts with having that foundation, which we're going to walk you guys through how to create in Seattle. All right. I got to get to work too. So much love to you all, and we will see you next week. Bye, you guys.
Hi, guys.